welcome back to another Raw Read pop-up. Yes, I am popping up. Why? Because I have been on these internet streets and I have found something I want us to talk about. Something for us to chit-chat about. Something for us to kiki and maybe even lean close and be messy about. Yes. Like I said, I have been on these internet streets and I have been seeing what the squatties are talking about, and I just wanted to bring this one to you really quick. We all know that Harry and Meghan, I think it's in about 4 days, they're going to have their 7th wedding anniversary. And of course, the squatties are over the moon about it, and so am I, because they have defied all the predictions. We heard them all when they first got married, especially when they were trying to cut Meghan down a peg or two. You know, I think that is a British saying, but I digress. Yes, when they were trying to smear Meghan, and then after Harry and Meghan left, to smear them both. Because let's not get it twisted. When they were working roles, Meghan was the target, not Harry. And we can pretty much say that today. Now, they'll talk a little bit about Harry, but most of the time it is all about Meghan. The smearing, the attacks, the abuse. It's always been just zeroing in on Meghan, because she has always been perceived as the threat. She has always been perceived as the catalyst to Harry escaping that place over there. So she has always been the villain in their eyes. So this is where all these attacks come from. And for them to be having their 7th wedding anniversary, it got them folks over across the pond feeling some kind of way. And the way they're feeling is they want to try to rewrite history. The very thing that they use, that very story that they use to try to destroy Meghan. You know the story, the one that started it all, the one that kicked all of this nonsense off. And in the Oprah interview, Meghan herself said this particular story is what really started the hate to be whipped up against her. Meghan said it all started with this story. And what story am I talking about? The bridesmaid dress story. That Meghan made Kate cry story. The one that was planted with Camilla Tominey. And Camilla Tominey, who is a foot soldier for that family over there, she has done quite a bit of harm when it comes to Harry and Meghan. She has. She is a liar. And I'm telling you, she has been proven time and time as a liar. And now here we are with this story again. It's getting closer and closer to Harry and Meghan's anniversary, and these people across the pond, those left behinds, especially over there in Kensington Palace, wants to try to rewrite history. And how are they doing it? Tom Quinn. Tom Quinn is out with a new book coming out, and in that book, he is telling or retelling this story in favor of Kensington Palace. Meaning that he is saying that it wasn't that Kate made Meghan cry or Meghan made Kate cry. Both parties was upset. This is the line on which they want to go with this time. You know what? I just can't. I cannot with these people, because this is such a clear narrative coming straight out of Kensington Palace, because they were caught in a lie. Because Prince Harry, in his book Spare, aired them out because he dropped those text messages from Kate. And to show that no, it was not Meghan who made Kate cry. It was Kate being a diva, being a bitch, during the time Meghan was under stress with her father and all that they were causing on that end, because that was coming out of Kensington Palace as well. And she even wanted to heat more on Meghan by trying to create a issue where it was none. Talking about Charlotte's dress, it was too big, it was too baggy, it was too this. And Meghan had a tailor on site. Why are you calling? Why are you acting as if you don't understand? This is my wedding. I saw a woman, me and her went back and forth here in these internet streets, talking about how Meghan, at that time of her wedding, was just trying to make it all about herself. And Catherine just wanted Charlotte to have her dress the way it should be, because Charlotte is a princess. And you know what I told her? I said, and I'm going to just say the word, y'all. I said, bitch, it was supposed to be about her. It's supposed to be about Meghan. It's Meghan's wedding. If anybody was being a bitch, it was Kitty Cat McButtons McMumbles. It was her, because she was intentionally being a bitch to Meghan, and knowing too what Meghan was going through with that family. And the reason I say she knew is because they were behind that too. William and Jason Knopf was all there pulling the levers when it comes to her father and all the nonsense was going on then. And then here she is talking about the whole, it's just a few days before the wedding, and talk about all of the bridesmaids dresses need to be remade. So all those little girls, you got to wrangle in all of them and get them to get their measurements or get their fittings again in order to get new bridesmaids dresses made. Stop. Stop. You knew exactly what you were doing. Kate knew exactly what she was doing. And it was all a coordinated plan to apply the pressure to Meghan. During this very, very difficult time, very sensitive time, I have been a bride, and you don't need any more pressure than just the regular things to go down. You don't need your future in-laws causing you problems like these folks were doing. But yet and still, here they are now using Tom Quinn, trying to rewrite it because of the fact that they've been aired out. So now they're trying a whole new narrative to try to alleviate people's feelings that they have about Kate. Well, that's not going to happen, because the people who feel some kind of way about Kate, that's never going to change, because at the end of the day, we see exactly who Kate is. We see her, and we will never forget that she was one of the royal races. So stop it. Oh, yeah. I said all of that. Y'all, I'm getting hyped up. Y'all know I get hyped up when I think about what they did to Meghan during this time, which supposed to be a happy time. Seem like they attack her every time. It's supposed to be a happy time for her. Her wedding, the birth of her child. She did not even get to enjoy her first pregnancy because of these people. Harry said it in the Oprah interview, saying that they didn't get a chance to enjoy having their newborn child, just being able to cocoon as a family. They were constantly being attacked by his brother, by Kensington Palace, by Jason Knopf, and Christian Jones, that whole crew. And they had even recruited some more goons to fly down there. All the flying monkeys was flying to Mexico. But at the time, Harry and Meghan did not know the extent of the attack. All they knew was they were trying to get through it, and never had the opportunity to really enjoy the thrill of their day. Every time Harry and Meghan have a happy occasion, his brother is always coming in trying to rob him of it. And this was no exception. His wedding day was no exception. That is the reason why it is no reconciliation for the squad and those folks over there. If they can rewrite it all they want to, but we will never ever forget what went down when it came to that wedding. And I am willing to believe it's even more that we don't even know that those scorpions, those vipers were up to at the time. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And Kaiser wrote this for Celebici, and it's an article about an article. That's her style. And she's writing about an article that appeared in People magazine. And it is a new narrative that Kensington Palace is trying to gaslight us with. And they're doing it with a new book from Tom Quinn. And that narrative is that both Meghan and Kate was upset about the bridesmaids' dresses. This is a new narrative that they are trying to get people to believe now. That no, Meghan didn't make Kate cry and Kate didn't make Meghan cry. It was just they both were upset. But we all know what the deal is. This story was planted for a reason. This was the first shot across the bow in this battle they have waged against Meghan and sometime Harry. Yes, this was the beginning shot of the smear campaign. Meghan said it on the Oprah interview. This is where it started. But now that it didn't turn out quite like they anticipated, that not only did they smear Meghan, but Kate received some blowback from it. Now they want to go back in and try to clear it up, try to clean it up, and try to gaslight people into believing that those text messages that Harry put in spare didn't quite mean what we think they meant. Of course they did, though. Of course they did. Kate was absolutely the person causing the problem. And Meghan was the victim of it all. So stop it. But like I said, this is what's going on, and this is what we're talking about today. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this up, and this is Kaiser's story. The name of the article is Royal Sources Now Say Both Sides Were Really Upset in the Meghan Kate Wedding Story. And Kaiser goes on in this article talking about how it's been 7 years already, and yet and still these people are trying to clean it up. Meghan and Harry's wedding was back in 2018. But no, they still cannot help themselves. Harry and Meghan's wedding anniversary, their 7th wedding anniversary, is coming up. They know people are going to start to talk about this. And this is their way of trying to rewrite history as usual. And that's pretty much what Kaiser is saying in this article, how they are really trying to create a new narrative here to try to shine up the turd that is Kate Middleton, trying to absolutely alleviate her of any blame, because this is why they got so angry with Meghan, because Meghan went on the Oprah interview and told the truth about what happened. They cannot stand the truth. They can't handle it. So because of that, they have been about trying to rewrite this incident for years and years and years. And that is the reason why we are here today. Kaiser said this: since the Oprah interview, especially Kate and the Middletons have been trying to reimagine the story to make it sound like Kate was the victim too. No, really, she swears Meghan made her cry too. Well, would you believe that the new book has yet another version of this story? Exactly. They have tried to rewrite it, but nobody is absolutely falling for the con job. We are not going to fall for the okey doke. But yet and still, that doesn't stop them from trying. It does not. And this is what Tom Quinn said in that People magazine. And Kaiser posted the excerpts from that article. And he said, I can tell you that all the papers and the commentators got this wrong. The truth is that, as with many of these spats between sisters, brothers, and even sister-in-laws, both sides were really upset, the staffer said, according to Newsweek. Well, we all know about Newsweek, Jack Royston, that flying monkey, that little boot-licking toady. We know what he is about, and we know that he works closely with that family over there. He is one of their flunkies. He is one of their soldiers in this smear campaign. So I take everything that he says as a lie. But I digress. I'm just going to say this. If they are willing to let Kate take part of the blame for what happened here with those bridesmaids' dresses, with all the chaos and the horror that Megan had to go through during her wedding, you best believe it's all Kate's fault, because they accept no responsibility for anything. She is fully protected. And for them to be willing to allow her to take partial blame for this situation, for this particular event, oh yeah, she did everything that Megan said she did, because it would have never happened. That they never accept responsibility for anything. But I believe it's the blowback. It's the blowback. It is the Sussex squad. They did not anticipate the blowback. They're so used to being able to move without accountability, without any repercussions. And then they found out, no, you don't get to do that. You can do whatever you want to, but it's going to be blowback. It is what I was saying in my last podcast. You know, a lot of times we have to repeat things, but it is important for us to do that because they want us to get tired. They want us to relent. They want to be able to move without any blowback and recreate new narratives and lie and respin old stories in their favor. And if it's no pushback, if it's no kind of blowback involved, they get away with it. That is the reason why I say if people listen to me or not, these are things that I'm going to do. I'm always going to be about the pushback. If it's an old story, I'm pushing back. If it's a new story, I'm pushing back. It's the pushback for me. I'm just saying. And in this People article, Tom Quinn goes on to say, the truth is that during the discussions about the bridesmaid's dress, Megan said a few things she regretted, and Kate said a few things she later regretted, but it was all in the heat of the moment. The staff member continued. Both women were crying their eyes out. Now, if you believe that Kate was crying her eyes out, I have a bridge in San Francisco. It is golden, made of gold, to sell you, because you are one of the most gullible and stupid individuals it is, and I need the cash. We all know who was crying and who was not, because one was intentionally causing a issue for no reason, and the other one was just trying to have a beautiful wedding. I'm just saying. And Kaiser said in closing, she said this: Meghan went on the record about what happened. Harry went on the record about what happened. And Kate has spent 6+ years lying about what happened through sources. Where is the lie? Where is it? And now here's another story. Here's another narrative that Kensington Palace is putting out there. Stop it. Stop it. And it says, you might say, hey, who cares at this point? I do. And so do I. I care a lot because I will never, ever allow them to set the narrative, to rewrite history without pushback, without being addressed about it. So, yeah, I care. I care a lot. And then Kaiser goes on to say, a lot of people do. Exactly. Exactly. The Meghan made Kate cry lie was the centerpiece of the racist hate campaign in which Meghan was portrayed as the aggressor, rude, bossy, and a bully. Where is the lie? Where is the lie? It is where it started. This is what kicked it off. And you think we as squatties are just going to sit back and allow Tom Quinn to be fed this nonsense and put that out without pushback, without it being addressed? Not, not on this podcast. We're going to talk about it. We're going to push back about it. We are never, ever going to make it easy to lie on Meghan and rework the narrative. And it goes on to say, and it's still built upon the premise that Kate cried salty white tears and went completely berserk whenever she was forced to interact with Meghan. Where is the lie? We all remember that headline during the Queen's funeral where Kate said, prior to her performative cancer, said that doing that walkabout with Harry and Meghan, looking at the Queen's flowers at the gate, was one of the hardest things she had ever done before. No, I think she said it was the hardest thing she had ever done. Yes, and we also saw in Omed's book where they said every time someone mentioned Meghan's name, she would go, ooh, a shivering movement she would make with her body. Yes, this is Kate. And now that she realized that it did not quite work the way they thought it was going to work, and she actually faced blowback for it, now they want to come in and rewrite the whole thing, rewrite history. I don't know who is trying to rewrite history. I don't know if it's the Middletons. I don't know if it's Kensington Palace. I don't know if it's both, but I would think it's probably both. Because what they're doing, they're trying to clear the way for Kate to be queen. And they want her to be pristine. But all I can say, too late. Too late. We have saw behind the curtain. We know who Kate is. And she is a nasty piece of work. And so is William. And we're never, ever, ever going to allow her and her cohorts to rewrite history and try to frame Meghan as a villain in anything. Not even a co-villain like they're trying to do here, saying it was on both of them. No, it wasn't. It was on you, Kate. It was on you, kitty cat. You did that. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I'm going to put this up. And this particular squatty was not playing. Kind of like me. This is something I don't play about because this is what started this nonsense. This particular squatty posted the front page of the Scum where it ran the headline, Meghan made Kate cry. This is where it began. And then this squatty went back and got the text of what Kate had said, which proved that it was Kate, not Meghan, the villain. And then this squatty said this: these people are silent killers. Exactly. You cannot let them move in silence because they will kill you. I'm just saying. And then the next squatty said this: how could they have refuted it? She knows they couldn't. Exactly. Because the text messages are there. They couldn't refute it. So they decided to create a new narrative. I don't know how many different versions they have created in these past 7 years, but it's a lot. And then this other squatty said this: she said it with all her confidence because she knew very well they couldn't, because they told her to write it. No institution using gaslighting to the level of the royal family firm. Exactly. They She absolutely said this lie, put out this lie, Kensington Palace did, because they had confidence that Meghan and Harry could not say anything about it. They could not refute it. Harry and Meghan was trapped in a gilded cage of lies. They were setting ducks. They could attack them all they wanted to, but the palace would not defend them and would not allow them to defend themselves. What did Meghan say? She said they were willing to lie for William and Kate, but was not willing to tell the truth for her and her husband. This is what Harry and Meghan was up against during this time. And now all of a sudden, now blowback has happened. Now they've been aired out and the truth is out there. They're trying to clean it up and trying to create a new narrative. No, not today. Not today. We will not allow that to happen. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this particular squatty says it all and says everything that needs to be said, especially if you are a squatty. It says, the more they demonize them, the more we love them. They shall know no peace until they leave Harry and Meghan alone. Now, all I can say to that is, where is the lie? They will know no peace. We will be out here on these internet streets absolutely blasting the truth at every angle. No peace, no peace until you leave them alone. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all a little later. Bye.